salmon fishing at my favorite spot. Rough season, no rain. Salmon can't get up the river. Although I just went to the one stop point where they can't get any farther and saw some. But I got a funny story to tell. I woke up this morning and the plug or something must have fizzled out on my my iPhone. So my iPhone didn't charge. And so I got back from church and said, I'm gonna go salmon fishing. The problem is my phone died on the way here. These people make these like little fun pools, you know. They can hang out in the summer, but then it makes it hard on the salmon to get up these rivers. So I always break these dams down. I don't got my energy in me today. I only slept like 4 hours last night. I had a bad sleep night. One of those nights. You ever have one of those nights where you just wake up, can't fall back asleep? That was my night last night. But just breaking this thing down a little bit makes a big difference. Now the salmon can get up it, no problem. Just shoot right up there. Everything's big rocks out of the way. So now it makes it easier. I can get right up there. Anyways, I'm on my way here and my phone dies. I realized I don't have my wallet. So I can't even stop and buy a new plug for the car. I don't have a plug deal in the car. So I stop at a gas station in town, this little town near where I live. And I say to the chick, you got a phone plug I can plug in and use to charge my phone? And she says, all these people are idiots who do this. I mean, there's no real way to get the fish up here, man. You gotta break down these stupid barriers. Try not to kill myself. Anyways, so I say to the lady, I'm going fishing. Told her where. It's about 10 miles away. I said, what time? Oh, man, something stabbed me in the foot. You gotta be kidding me. Some kind of thorn or something in my foot. And I've got these waders on, so it's taking them off. It's not easy. And I said, what time do you get off? She's like 6. I said, can I borrow? Because she has one for her car. And she's like, well, you can use mine in my car. I'll just give it to you, charge up your phone or whatever for a few minutes. But I mean, I wanted to make some videos while I'm fishing. So I needed to charge my batteries. I said, what time do you get off work? She's like 6. I said, what if you're not here? Can I drop it off? She's like, yeah, my name's Lisa. Just drop it off. I said, you're awesome, Lisa. And you're the reason why I live here. This is the reason why I love to live where I live. Because there are good people. Nice people, helping people, kind people, generous people. I'm just like, thank you. You rock. So I was able to plug my phone in and charge it for 10 miles. And now I'll be able to make some videos. When I get here, there's a few tourists hanging out. And up at the falls, there were some fish. All small ones, though. Doesn't surprise me, though. Because the small ones can get up, the big ones can't. So I'm hoping, as I get downstream here, I'll be able to run into some bigger ones who are able to snake their way through the rock jams and the log jams and the half-inch deep gravel beds and rapids. But I'm going to power walk this whole river, probably like 2 miles, on 3 hours of sleep. I legit slept like 3 hours. Went to bed at almost 1, woke up at 4:30 to pee, never made it back to sleep. So I'm exhausted already. And people at church, you're just going to go home and go to sleep? I'm like, hell no, there's salmon in the river. I'm going fishing. I sleep when I'm dead. They're laughing. So, loaded up the car and moved to Beverly. I'm after these fish now. Let's see if we can find them. Stabbed myself with a hook. Let's see what we can find. I mean, look at the colors changing. How's that for a picture, huh? I'm walking along. Look at this. What a beautiful day. Colors are changing. I'm in paradise. Oh, we got one on, but it's a foul hook. I thought for sure I got him to bite. I was running my hook through this riff here, and like his face was right up there. Female, got her. What? What kind of fish is it? It's a perch. Okay. Yellow perch.
I've never seen a perch that big.
Yeah, they're growing big up here.
10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a big stepper underground.
Oh, I'm exhausted. I wish I could have. Of course, the day that I go salmon fishing and I slay them, the battery on my phone dies. Not sure what happened. I don't know what's going on with my phone. It's not charging or holding the charge. I don't know what the frick the problem is, but I killed it. I think I caught 8 fish. I kept 3. I kept 2 cohos and 3 kings, Chinooks. All giants. I had good luck. I don't know. It was one of those days where you have good luck, where you just, it was like I cast into like a hole with 10 fish, right? And bang, the biggest one would bite. It was just like that, and the freshest one. Not the freshest, because I caught one that was kind of a little bit skunky, but huge and put up a good fight. And then I caught 2 big ones that were fresh, like the freshest fish in the river. I was like, oh my, that's the one I want if I can get it. You know what I'm saying? And like 3rd cast, bang, nailed it, and then battled it. There's a bunch of turkeys on the side of the road. What are they eating over there? Turkeys eating. Dead deer. Deer got hit. Fresh deer kill. Anyways, it sucked. But one thing that was funny about it was there was this kid and his mom and his brother. And there's like maybe a 12, 13-year-old kid, and he comes walking in with his brother, and he's like, I don't know, this is my spot. And they were in a good spot. Like, I come around the bend going, this is the best stretch of river on the river. This is the best beds. And I've already caught some, and I've already seen a ton of them. But I'm like, this should be the best. And it is. As soon as I get there, they're freaking everywhere. And they're in, when the salmon go into this pure, like, end-of-life spawn mode, they're, like, retarded. They're not scared or spooky anymore. You can cast at them. They don't care. They'll bite anything that touches them. They're mean. They're just, so that's what you're looking for. But it's hard to catch them in that phase. They're only in that phase for a couple of days. And so, and they trickle in at different times. So you'll get a pod of them every once in a while in that phase. And the kid comes walking up, and I just caught 2 there, big ones. And then he's like, oh my God, Mom, they're here. I'm like, yeah, they're here. And I like caught 2 smaller ones, foul hooked them accidentally, and I let them go right away. And the lady's like, oh, is that how you do them? You just snag them? I'm like, no, I accidentally snagged these 2. I let them go. I don't keep the foul hook ones. I let them go. God, Jesus, a bunch of freaking deer along the side of the road, man. 2 fawns. Those are little young deer, man. Y'all youngins are little. I gotta slow down. I just deer on the side of the road. I hate to smash my car. On the other hand, it might work out. I got full coverage. So anyways, the kid he's got this big fluorescent spinner on there, right? And it's as good as anything else. It's as good as what I'm using, you know. So I'm like, you know, second, third cast. He's like, I got one. I look over. He's got a hook by the tail. Thing splashing the tail. It's kind of a skunky older fish. Not terrible, but not in great shape. It's just a little skunky. And anyways, he gets it. He lands it, and he's like trying to pull it out. I'm like, bro, reach down. This kid's like 12, 13 years old. I'm like, reach down there and pull it out. Reach down there and you got to pick it up. He's trying to pull it up the line. You break your line, bro. You're going to break your line. So anyway, the line breaks. Snap, boom, the fish goes back in the river, swims away. And I go, bro, listen, bro. You want me to get your spinner back? And he's like, yeah, it's the only thing I got. It's the only bait I got. I'm like, oh, I felt bad for this kid. So I tracked down the fish that he caught, and I kind of, I may or may not have accidentally hooked it in the mouth, of course, and then got a spinner and gave it back and let the fish go because the kid didn't have a spinner. And then I gave him a hook and some a spawn bag. I said, here, you don't have an extra hook. You lose that one. Here's a hook and a spawn bag. I'm like, if you just keep casting at these fish, eventually you're going to hook one. You might foul hook one. You're probably going to foul hook a few of them. So what? That's a good time. Let them go. He's like, yeah, I don't even want them. I'm like, yeah, just here to catch the fish and have fun. But they'll bite, you know, you know, he don't know what he's doing like me. I know how to catch that. I know how to look for, there's two different ways to catch king salmon to bite. Most people don't know this. Not even people who fish for them know this. But I fished so many years of it and so many hours and days on the river. Basically, if you can catch 2, 3, 4, but usually it's 2 males that are like, they're posted up and they're going back and forth. They swing back and forth, back and forth. They're fighting and they'll posture up and they never, it's always big ones. Sometimes smaller ones, but usually it's big ones, 2 big ones. And they'll back and forth, and all of a sudden one will go, and just bite the crap out of the other one, and they'll fight, and it's crazy, it's chaos, splash. If you get that going, if you see that, which, you know, I saw that today, I didn't catch any because of that, but there's not a lot of big fish. The river, that's another thing. All the fish are small. Like the 3 fish I caught, like the 3 biggest fish I saw. I'm sure there's some other bigger ones in there, but the majority, I would say 80% of the fish are like, they're 25-30% under average, so they're small. But anyways, you get those 2 big ones that are going back and forth, and they're in fight mode. All you got to do is cast out in front of them and touch them, and they'll smash your bait. Boom. And the other way is when they're on them, they're like behind a bed where there's a female. There's a couple of females, and there's a spawning. They're called fanning. The females do get on their side and do this, and the eggs pop out. Then there's always like 4, 5, 6, 7 males behind them, and they're all fighting over her. All you got to do is throw an orange crayfish out there, and they'll bite it. They don't like that crayfish. I don't know why. They'll eat spawn too, which is weird because, you know, they're spawning, but they'll bite the orange spawn. I don't know if I have no idea why, but that's what they do. I will wrap orange tape, like an orange like caution tape around my line. That's all you need. They'll bite it. I mean, it's just anything orange. Chartreuse green works. Anyway, it was a great day. Caught some big kings, and when I get home, I'm gonna clean them in my yard because I'm gonna take the guts and the leftovers and stuff, and I'm gonna boil them down, and I'm using for cat food because I got all these kittens and I'm feeding all these kittens. So I'm just chop them, the carcasses up, boil them up, and then strain it, and then that's it's cat food. So that's what I got going. I should go to the city, and I gotta give this lady her plug back. That's the thing. So I gotta go. The lady at the gas station loaned me her plug, which was super nice of her. But I gotta bring it back. Her name is Lisa. Random woman. My phone died, so I'm just like, you got a plug? She's like, yeah, I get that out of my car. I'm like, what time you get off? She's like, 6. I'm like, well, if I don't make it back at 6, I'll leave it. She's like, yeah, I'm Lisa. Just bring it back. That's how cool people are up here. I mean, I could have knocked on somebody's door and said, you got an iPhone? Can you help me charge my phone? They probably would have been like, yeah, here's mine. Keep it. I mean, people are just good people up here. That's why I live here. They're helpful. And I'm helpful. I would help anybody. You know what I'm saying? They knocked on my door or needed a hand or was broken down. I've actually stopped people who are on the side of the road broken down. Like, you need some help? And they're like, yeah, no, whatever. And I've had people stop me. My motorcycle one day broke down the side of the road. And like 3 different people pull over, like, you need help? You need help? I'm like, no, I'm good, but thank you. It's just it's the way the world up here, man. It's different. It's a different world where I live. It's a completely different world. It's nothing like living in the city where people don't give a flying flip about you. They can care less. Up here they do. Just saying, I'm out. Oh, and one other thing, funny. So I'm dragging these 3 giant salmon out literally for like a mile and a half. I'm exhausted. I'm 51 years old, so it's not like I'm some young buck. And I'm dragging these things, and they're like probably 70 pounds of fish dead weight on a stick, dragging them. Oh, exhausting. I did the heavy deadlifts 2 days ago. Friday, it's Sunday. So my back is blown out. Well, what did I do yesterday? Oh, I chopped, split, and stacked 2 cords of wood. So dude, I don't know if anybody knows how much that is. It's a lot of flipping wood, man. It's like 4,000 pounds of wood. So I'm tired from that. So I'm dragging this salmon, and I cleaned the 2 cohos, filleted them, so they're in my backpack. So I got 20 pounds of meat in my backpack, plus my drink, and got my fishing pole, and I'm dragging probably 65 pounds of fish. It's easy 65 pounds, maybe more, 70. I passed this guy on the way out, young guy, good-looking young guy. And he says, hey, man, can you do me a favor, keep an eye out for my phone? I lost my phone. I'm like, you're kidding me, bro, really? He's like, yeah, I tried to catch a salmon with my hand, put my phone in my boot, and da-da. I said, oh, bro, I'm sorry. If I find it, like, what car are you at? He's like a Ford Explorer. I said, bro, I find it, I'll put it under windshield wiper. I'll look the whole way. And then I walk like 50 yards, and I realize, cause I'm looking for his thing, and I'm looking, all of a sudden I go, damn, bro, I left my fishing pole. Because of him, like, thinking about lost. And I'm like, whoa, where's my fishing pole? I left my fishing pole back where I was filleting the fish in the river. So I go running back there because I don't lose my pole. I got like an $80 reel. And then as I'm coming back, I'm dragging this thing. I got to take a break about every 30 yards because it's brutal. I'm exhausted. And it's uphill now. I call it the Baton Death March. I've told my wife, when I first got out, I was dragging salmon back all the time. And I was like, oh, man, the last freaking 400 yards up this hill is the Baton Death March. So every time we come to that spot after we go for a walk, I'm like, the Baton Death. Even without fish, it's hard and it's exhausting. Now with a backpack full of me. Anyways, I'm taking a break, and I turn around, and I see the kid come walking up, and he's got his phone. I'm like, you found it? He's like, yeah. I said, good, you could drag my fish the rest of the way. Just out of the blue to this kid. I'm like, he's not a kid. I thought he was like 35, man. He's like, I'm 24. Just good-looking guy. And I was like, he's like, yeah, bro, I got you, bro. He like tries to sling it up on his shoulder. I'm like, that's not a good move. That stick ain't gonna hold it. Stick breaks. So anyways, he drags my fish, carries them back. His little redheaded girlfriend comes walking up, ooh, fish. But super, he's a cute chick, and him, and it was just funny, man. I was like, thank you. You saved the freaking day, bro. I was so tired, man. I'm exhausted. Deadlifted. Oh, by the way, and I only slept 3 hours last night because I was just one of those weird sleepless nights that everybody has them once in a while. I got up at 4:30 in the morning to pee and just couldn't fall back asleep good, and like it was too hot. I had the fire going. The fire was too hot. Oh, it's another dead deer, man. Damn it. That's a fresh dead deer on the side of the road. Should cut the hindquarters off and eat it, you know what I'm saying? Feed it to my cat. I got plenty of deer. I can kill a deer for the cats any day. All right, I'm at the gas station where I have to give this chick back her phone or her plug. I hope it doesn't smell like fish, but if it is, it does. Sorry, Lisa, but thank you. Thank you for letting me use your phone plug, and I got to go fishing. I'm in my yard. I'm cleaning these salmon that I caught yesterday. These are the 3 hogs that I kept. I had a couple cohos too. I filleted them. So I had this whole process. Now, hear me out. This is why my hat looks ridiculous. I get it, I know. Make fun of it, it's okay. I like salmon when they're fresh. These 3 are all fresh. So I'm gonna keep these salmon and fillet them up, vacuum seal them, put them in my freezer. I'm gonna give some to the people at church. I'm gonna give friends who like salmon, I'm gonna give them some. But then some of it, some of it gonna feed these cats. I got a cat in my garage named Cracky who has 3 little crack babies, 3 little kittens. And feeding them is getting expensive because we have 4 house cats too. So at this point, we have 8 cats. So we're feeding them, and it gets expensive. I'm like, I'm just gonna do what they do with the dogs up in Alaska, the racing dogs. What's the name of that race? Anyways, I'm gonna take the carcasses and boil them up. And these were hogs too, man. Like, I only saw maybe 6 of them fish in this category in the river this year. and they were fresh, so they were able to bite. They bit. When they're fresh, they'll still bite. When they're not fresh, they won't bite. I could not believe how quickly these things bit. You know, there's a whole 6-7 fish at the back of like a bed. I cast in there, boom. I think I foul hooked one or snagged one, and bang, I was crashing and splashing. I wish I had my phone. My battery had died, so I couldn't record it. It's very hard to record when you first hook them. They go ballistic, crash, splash. So, but after they calm down a little bit, I can pull out my phone and I kind of film it as I'm battling. But I wasn't able to do that because I had dead battery. So, anyways, I told you the story about how I dragged them back through the Baton Death March for a couple of miles, and then some young man helped me. That was very cool. Anyway, so it's the morning now. I just suck them in here for the night, and I'm going to take all the carcasses, everything, and boil it up for the cats. And then you strain it, and then you just put it in bags and freeze it for cat food, because the cats love it. They love salmon. And so this is, even with the carcasses of these things, and they will eat the intestines, the sperm. There's big things of sperm in there. It's like milky cottage cheese looking stuff, or it's not got like sour cream packs. It's tight. Anyways, you cut it all up, you boil it. So this is the rinse bucket. This is the boil bucket. So I'll probably have to do a couple of batches. You don't have to boil it all the way, but to kind of keep it from bacteria and getting them sick, you want to boil it for a few minutes. And plus, that makes it easier to like strain. You want to get as much of the bones and crap out as you can. I'll even boil the heads because there's meat on the heads. They can gnaw on it, whatever. You don't want to leave it like a fish head in your garage to like gnaw on, because that'll attract raccoons and skunks and God only knows what. All the carcasses and stuff that's left, anything that's left, I'm going to burn it. But this is my system. So I got this fire going and get this stuff boiling. It'll take a few minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to fillet these monsters. This one gave me a really good fight because it was very fresh. These things have been dead for, 18 hours or something. So they're kind of, they look dark and beat up and ugly. But when I first caught them, they were almost silver. And one of them had his tails were a little beat up, but that's just from fighting and coming up the river. The big ones struggle to get up the river because there's a lot of stretches of river that's only, an inch or two deep. So when they come up, they're and they beat up their tail. And then it catches like a fungal, not fungal, but it just gets scarred up. And I caught one yesterday. I had caught two yesterday. I had lamprey. That's a little eel that's a parasite that locks on and sometimes kills them, sometimes doesn't. But anyways, that's what I'm doing, man. So this is it. I got to burn that bag, and I'll put all the good fillets in garbage bags, and then I'll grocery bags, and then I'll go vacuum seal them, and then everything else is going to go to the cats. I mean, one of those salmon right there literally is the equivalent of 50 or 60 cans of tuna fish, or cans of, cat food that costs 40 cents a pop. So, I mean, they like it, and it saves me the money, and I don't like to waste. So, my wife is doing an interview in the house, so I figured I'll go outside and do this, wear my goofy ass hat, record this video, and show you these massive kings I caught. Boom! Look at the teeth. These dudes were, dude, it was crazy. This big one right here, there was a lady and some kid sitting there watching, and the kid came running up so excited. He's like, I don't know if they're running, Mom, but this is my spot. And he's in the right spot. It was the best spot on the river. And it was like 2 miles from the where you access the river. So they came a long ways. And I hear them coming. They didn't know I'm in the river. I just caught one. And he comes walking over. He's like, oh my God, they're running. They're right there. And I said, right there's about 8 of them, bro. Just cast in there with your spinner. And he did, and he hooked one in the tail, foul hooked it. It broke off his line. I was able to get it to bite and bring it in, get his hook back and let it go. Because the poor kid didn't have another hook, you know what I'm saying? And I felt bad. But they were having a blast. I left them with a spawn bag, better fishing option, a spawn bag and a hook. And so I hope they had a blessed day. I gave them my website. Hey, check me out on my website. I'm a writer. Now they're probably going to go home, Google me, or look at my website and go, what the frick is this dude I met out there fishing? Crazy. Way out there in the boonies. Anyways, so I had a good day. I have to get this out of my system every year. As long as I can get a handful of monsters on for the battle, it's out of my system. But until I hook a couple of monsters and land them, then I'm just like jonesing. I'm like, come on, I gotta do this. I went the last 2 weeks in a row, and the fish weren't running. Finally, they just decided to all go up the river at the same time, even though there was no rain. They've been waiting for rain and colder nights. They just didn't have enough. The trigger from the instinct wasn't shutting them out. But they're getting older, and they're starting to like self-decay. Way at the mouth of the river, just cruising around. Finally, someone was just like, I'm going, boom, and they just fought their way up through the rapids and log jams. I mean, there's log jams that just smash like a dam, and they just crash through it, jump over it, whatever, just keep going. But so I said, God, I gotta go, I gotta figure it out. So now, cool, it's out of my system. I can start deer hunting. Just saying, man. That's how spastic and weird I am. So I just wanted to share it with you guys, and that's what I'm doing. Don't make fun of my hat. Or Ken, go ahead, make fun of my hat. I'm ridiculous. I got a leather Fonzie jacket on. But look, people who are young and know what Fonzie is, Google Fonzie or Happy Days. Hey, I'm just saying, I'm out. Laying one of these fish is not necessarily that easy or that fun. So, I'm gonna show you how I do it. So, my dad taught me this when I was a kid, but to fillet it, you just cut below the head all the way through the belly. Then you poke it in the spine line. Anybody who's ever filleted a fish understands this. But I don't like to waste meat. So I like to make sure I get all the meat. So get right on the spine. Follow it down. Get to the end. And when you get to the end, poke it through. And you got to be careful not to cut yourself, because I'm a bleeder. I'm on blood thinners. If I get a bad cut, I could literally die. So then you got to cut through the rib bones. There's a set of bones, not the main rib bones, but there's a set of bones you got to kind of pop through. Once you get through that, you can just lay along the rib line. And you know, I'm a pretty good filleter. Not the greatest, but pretty good. I got years of experience doing this. So they're never perfect. I never make the perfect fillet, but sometimes this one's turned out really well. And but there's also a lot of meat left on the carcass. That's a king salmon fillet. That's about, I don't know, 3-4 pounds of meat. It's a pretty hefty chunk. And it's a nice hunk of meat. This is like 3 dinners. So if I divide this into 3 packs, this is like 3 dinners. And I can't imagine how much protein's in there. There's a ton. There's hundreds of grams of protein. But now I'm gonna rinse it in the bucket, and then I'll put it in the bag. That's gonna be human food. That's where the coho went. The coho meat. But we don't like salmon all that much. So honestly, like, I like fritters. I like hush puppies, salmon hush puppies. But and I like salmon chowder. I just made a big batch. I made a big batch of salmon chowder, and it was delicious. I may make another batch. For now, Fonzie in the house. I gotta finish filleting these fish. I'm out.